Charlton Heston, renowned for his impactful moment at the 2000 NRA convention where he dramatically raised a rifle to his head, was not just an actor but also a fervent political figure. While fans celebrated his contributions to American cinema and politics, the concealed facets of his personality remained unknown to many. Until now, only his daughter holds the key to these hidden truths, and in this video, she unveils shocking revelations about Charlton Heston. Brace yourself for a poignant exploration into the untold aspects of his life. Charlton Heston, born as John Charles Carter in 1923 in Wilmette, Illinois, had a childhood marked by a love for nature and a relatively quiet demeanor. Growing up, he found joy in exploring the woods and lakes of St. Helens, Michigan, where his family had relocated when he was young. His early years were characterized by a contentment found in the solitude of the natural world, often accompanied by his father. However, Heston's life took a sudden turn when his parents divorced shortly after he celebrated his 10th birthday. His mother, later marrying a man named Chat Heston, returned to Wilmette with her children. The family decided to adopt their stepfather's last name, marking a significant change in Charlton's identity. Adjusting to his new life in Wilmette and grappling with the complexities of a blended family, young Heston initially felt out of place in his new high school. It was during this period of adjustment and self-discovery that Charlton Heston stumbled upon a passion that would shape his entire life: acting. Acting became more than a pastime for him. It became a refuge and a means of expression. Embracing this newfound interest, Heston discovered a sense of purpose and belonging in the world of performance, ultimately paving the way for a remarkable career on the stage and screen. Charlton Heston's journey into adulthood was marked not only by his passion for acting, but also by the enduring love story that unfolded during his time at Northwestern University. Having secured a partial scholarship for his acting prowess, Heston immersed himself in the world of theater. It was within the hallowed halls of Northwestern that he crossed paths with Lydia Clark, a fellow theater enthusiast who would play a pivotal role in his life. As fate would have it, love blossomed between Heston and Lydia. Convinced that Lydia was the woman he wanted to spend the rest of his life with, Heston found himself facing a series of rejections when he proposed to her multiple times during their years at school together. Despite his persistence, Lydia remained elusive, leaving Heston disheartened as he prepared to move away after 2 years at Northwestern. However, life took an unexpected turn for Heston when World War II erupted, prompting him to join the U.S. Air Force. Faced with the uncertainties of wartime and perhaps motivated by a newfound urgency, Heston decided to make one final attempt to win Lydia's heart. In a heartfelt letter, he expressed his feelings, fully expecting the familiar rejection. To his astonishment, Lydia's response was different this time. Her acceptance of his proposal filled Heston with unparalleled joy, and the couple exchanged vows in a North Carolina church just before he embarked on active duty in March 1944. Although their married life had a brief beginning before Heston's wartime service, it laid the foundation for the enduring partnership that would officially commence upon his return home. Following his service in the Air Force, Charlton Heston reunited with his wife, Lydia, and the couple embarked on a new chapter of their lives with a shared dream of making it big on the stage. Their journey began in New York, where they initially worked as artists' models, showcasing their artistic versatility. However, the couple's aspirations led them to explore a variety of creative avenues. Their next venture took them to North Carolina, where Heston and Lydia took a bold step by attempting to run their own playhouse. Despite the challenges they faced, the couple embraced the opportunity to immerse themselves in the world of theater. However, their stay in North Carolina was relatively brief, as Heston's ambitions reached beyond the confines of their temporary playhouse. Heston, driven by a burning desire to succeed on Broadway, decided to relocate back to New York in 1948. This time, however, he brought with him a secret weapon: the transformation of his identity. Taking on a new stage name, he merged his mother's maiden name, Charlton, with his stepfather's last name, Heston, creating a moniker that would become synonymous with his future success. Whether it was the change in name or a twist of fate, Broadway welcomed Heston with open arms this time around. Upon returning to New York, Charlton Heston's fortunes in the entertainment industry took a promising turn. His Broadway debut as Proculeius in Antony and Cleopatra not only showcased his acting prowess but also caught the attention of CBS, leading to an offer for a role in their production of Julius Caesar. This marked the beginning of Heston's foray into television, with several successful roles paving the way for a growing reputation in the industry. One pivotal moment in Heston's career came when director Hal Wallis, renowned for his work on classics like Casablanca, took notice of the emerging talent. Wallis was so impressed by Heston's performance in a TV role that it prompted him to extend an offer for a film project, Dark City. Despite Heston's initial focus on his stage and television career, he found himself unable to resist Wallis's offer. Although Dark City didn't achieve significant success at the box office, critics acknowledged Heston's exceptional performance. This film, while not a commercial hit, set the stage for what would become Heston's breakthrough in Hollywood. The turning point in his cinematic journey occurred with a Cecil B. DeMille film, a box office success that propelled Heston into the spotlight. Interestingly, DeMille's decision to cast Heston in this significant role was unconventional. Despite feeling that Heston's performance in Dark City was too sinister, DeMille had a change of heart and decided to give him a chance. Lady Luck smiled upon Charlton. Heston, on the fateful day, he visited Paramount Pictures to meet some friends. As he was leaving, Heston noticed Cecil B. DeMille, the legendary director and co-founder of Paramount, standing outside his office. Seizing the moment, Heston smiled and waved at him, a friendly gesture that would prove to be the catalyst for a significant turn in his career. DeMille, inspired by Heston's demeanor, began considering him for his next cinematic venture, The Greatest Show on Earth. However, the path to securing the role was far from straightforward. DeMille, known for his unique approach to casting, kept Heston in suspense, leaving the actor uncertain about his standing in the selection process. When DeMille finally broached the subject of the film with Heston, the actor found himself at a loss, not knowing how to respond. In the end, Heston offered a cautious, "Sounds like it would make a fine film." The outcome, as they say, is history. The Greatest Show on Earth not only achieved commercial success but also earned the prestigious Academy Award for Best Picture. This marked a turning point in Heston's career, solidifying his presence in Hollywood, and DeMille recognized that he had discovered the next big star. The successful collaboration between Heston and DeMille didn't end there. Their next project together became another smash hit, providing Heston with a career-defining role. Charlton Heston's remarkable physical presence, marked by his towering height, buffed-up physique, chiseled jaw, broad shoulders, and deep baritone voice, became a defining aspect of his star power. Cecil B. DeMille recognized the potential in Heston's appearance, particularly when he sketched a beard on Heston's picture and saw an extraordinary likeness to Michelangelo's sculpture of the prophet Moses. This realization set the stage for Heston's transformative role in Hollywood. Building on the momentum of his career, Heston collaborated with DeMille once again, taking on the monumental role of the prophet Moses in The Ten Commandments. Critics lauded his performance, and Heston's dedication to the role went beyond the ordinary. In preparation, he immersed himself in the character by diligently learning passages from the Old Testament. Displaying an extraordinary commitment to authenticity, Heston went so far as to put his own blood on the line for the role. To lend further credibility to his portrayal of Moses, he decided to play the part barefoot, willingly enduring the sharp rocks of Mount Sinai during filming. This sacrifice, in his view, was a small price to pay for the immortality that an iconic role could bring. In a surprising twist, Heston also contributed his voice to the film by voicing God in the scene of the burning bush, where God speaks to Moses for the first time. While this significant contribution added depth to the film, DeMille, in an effort to maintain a sense of mystery, did not credit Heston for the voiceover. Instead, he claimed it was an unknown actor, concealing Heston's name to preserve the enigma. Heston's multifaceted involvement in the Ten Commandments not only showcased his versatility as an actor, but also emphasized his commitment to pushing the boundaries for the sake of authenticity and excellence. This film not only solidified Heston's position as a leading Hollywood actor, but also marked a pivotal moment in his career, setting the stage for the continued success that would define his legacy in the years to come. In an interesting twist during the making of The Ten Commandments, Charlton Heston's own family played a role in the film. His infant son, Fraser C. Heston, was included in a significant scene mirroring the biblical narrative when baby Moses is placed on the Nile in a basket. Cecil B. DeMille strategically timed the shooting of this scene when Fraser was 3 months old, aligning with the age of Moses in the Bible. Following his iconic portrayal of the Hebrew prophet, Heston returned to his roots in westerns and adventure films. His versatile career took another turn with the thriller Touch of Evil, in which he starred alongside Orson Welles. Although the film wasn't an immediate hit upon release, it later gained recognition as a classic masterpiece. Notably, Welles, who initially intended only to act in the film, ended up directing it. The decision to change plans was made to accommodate Heston, who had accepted the movie believing Welles would be directing. Despite the alteration in the directorial role, Heston thoroughly enjoyed working with Welles. He appreciated Welles's approach, which allowed actors to fully inhabit their characters and improvise dialogues based on their interpretations. However, not all directors Heston worked with shared Welles's accommodating style. This realization became apparent as Heston encountered challenges with certain directors, setting the stage for a learning experience in the dynamic and sometimes demanding world of filmmaking. After collaborations with Cecil B. DeMille and Orson Welles, Charlton Heston found himself working with another renowned director, William Wyler. Heston secured the lead role in Ben-Hur after high-profile actors like Marlon Brando and Rock Hudson turned it down. Excited about this monumental opportunity, Heston wrote an extensive memo with suggestions and ideas on how to approach his first scene in the film. However, this proactive approach didn't sit well with Wyler. The director, known for his meticulous planning and attention to detail, was noticeably cold towards Heston after the incident. Heston quickly realized that Wyler had specific plans for each scene and character and was not receptive to suggestions that deviated from his vision. Despite the initial misstep, Heston was determined to give his best performance in Ben-Hur. Recognizing the challenges ahead, he embraced a rigorous work ethic. Heston arrived over a month before shooting began to engage in costume fittings and intense preparation, including learning to drive a 4-horse chariot. The actor recalled that it took him 6 weeks to master the skill of managing 4 white horses, an experience that he humorously noted nearly pulled his arms out of their sockets. Heston's dedication to his role in Ben-Hur proved to be a defining aspect of his career. The film went on to become the highest-grossing film of its time and earned a remarkable 11 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Actor for Heston. Notably, this marked his first and last nomination in the Best Actor category, making his victory even more significant. Wyler's meticulous attention to detail, combined with Heston's commitment, resulted in a cinematic masterpiece that has left an enduring legacy in the history of film. While Charlton Heston was known for his dedication to his roles, the director of Ben-Hur, William Wyler, was equally, if not more, committed to achieving perfection on set. Heston recalled an anecdote that highlighted Wyler's relentless pursuit of the ideal shot. In a scene where Judah Ben-Hur had to simply walk across a room, Wyler's meticulous nature led to 8 takes without satisfaction. Perplexed, Heston asked Wyler what he was looking for, and the director's reply was both surprising and intense. It turned out that Wyler had admired the way Heston kicked a pot in the first take and was determined to capture that specific action again. This anecdote underscored Wyler's attention to detail and his insistence on achieving the perfect nuances in every scene. However, there was one aspect of Heston's performance that even Wyler couldn't manipulate: the ability to cry. When the script required Heston's character to shed tears, the actor, unable to summon genuine emotion, resorted to covering his eyes with his hands and feigning sobs. Interestingly, Heston remained oblivious to a crucial aspect of his character that scriptwriter Gore Vidal had interpreted differently. Vidal suggested that Ben-Hur was gay and had a romantic history with Masala, the character who becomes a friend turned betrayer. This interpretation added a layer of complexity to the characters, explaining Masala's extreme reaction as potentially rooted in a spurned lover's emotion rather than just political differences. Heston, unaware of this perspective on the characters, approached the roles from a different angle. Charlton, Heston's personal beliefs, particularly regarding homosexuality, came to the forefront during the making of Ben-Hur. William Wyler, aware of Heston's views, asked scriptwriter Gore Vidal to keep the subtext of a potential romantic history between Ben-Hur and Masala a secret from the lead actor. Only Stephen Boyd, who portrayed Masala, knew about Vidal's interpretation and subtly tried to convey it through his performance. The subtext was later revealed by Vidal in his documentary The Celluloid Closet, which explored portrayals of homosexuality in Hollywood. When Heston learned about Vidal's interpretation, he vehemently denied it and even went so far as to claim that Vidal hadn't worked on the movie at all. This reaction showcased Heston's discomfort with the idea of homosexuality and his unwillingness to acknowledge alternative perspectives. A few years later, in 1965, Heston took on the role of Michelangelo in an adaptation of Irving Stone's The Agony and the Ecstasy. Despite embracing the role wholeheartedly, Heston refused to allow Vidal to use any scenes from the film for The Celluloid Closet. He insisted that his thorough research indicated Michelangelo's heterosexuality, despite evidence to the contrary. Heston's commitment to his craft remained unwavering, as seen in his endeavors to learn deep-water diving for a role in The Wreck of the Mary Dear, and his extensive preparation for the role of Michelangelo. However, despite his work ethic, the films following Ben-Hur did not achieve the same level of success. Throughout Charlton Heston's life, his political affiliations underwent several changes. However, during one of his most successful periods, he staunchly aligned himself with the Democrats. Heston took a firm stand against the anti-communist activities led by Republican Senator Joe McCarthy. In this era, he actively supported Democratic presidential candidates, initially backing Adlai Stevenson, who unfortunately lost, and later throwing his support behind the victorious John F. Kennedy. Amidst his involvement in politics, there was a cause that held a special place in Heston's heart: civil rights. At a time when many Hollywood celebrities chose to remain silent on the issue, Heston boldly championed the cause of civil rights. His support wasn't merely symbolic. He actively participated in the front lines of the movement and was vocal about his unwavering belief in the fight for civil rights. Charlton Heston held a deep admiration for Martin Luther King Jr., and his commitment to civil rights extended beyond mere endorsement. In a notable gesture, Heston accompanied King during some of his later speeches and even referred to him as a 20th-century Moses. Heston's public support for King and his advocacy for civil rights aligned with his belief in the importance of the cause. Heston's political stance also led him to endorse Lyndon B. Johnson, particularly for Johnson's role in championing and successfully passing the Civil Rights Act of 1964, despite facing opposition from various quarters. This legislative milestone was a significant step toward dismantling racial segregation and discrimination in the United States. However, as Heston's career progressed, he made several controversial choices that garnered criticism. Some critics cast doubt on the authenticity of his earlier commitment to civil rights, suggesting that he may have exaggerated his involvement in the movement. In the face of such skepticism, Heston remained unfazed. He dismissed the naysayers, expressing satisfaction that he had stood for civil rights long before Hollywood found it fashionable. Charlton Heston's political journey saw a significant transformation as he transitioned from being a staunch Democrat to a registered Republican in 1987. Despite asserting that it was the Democratic Party that had changed, Heston's evolving opinions on various issues, including gun control, hinted at a more nuanced perspective. In the late 1960s, Heston was among the Hollywood celebrities endorsing and advocating for gun control measures, expressing support for the Gun Control Act of 1968. However, over the years, he underwent a complete reversal, becoming one of the country's leading advocates for the right to bear arms and a staunch supporter of the National Rifle Association, NRA. While Heston was primarily known as an actor, he was actively involved in various committees and organizations. Inspired by his friend and role model, Ronald Reagan, Heston served as the president of the Screen Actors Guild from 1966 to 1971. He further contributed to the political landscape by becoming the co-chairman of Reagan's Task Force on Arts and Humanities. In this role, he defended the task force against criticisms of elitism. Heston's commitment to his political beliefs extended to his role as the president of the NRA for 5 years. Although largely ceremonial, this position solidified his image as a fervent supporter and the public face of the NRA throughout the rest of his life. Importantly, Heston did not abandon his acting career despite his active involvement in politics. While he didn't replicate the massive success of Ben-Hur, many of his films performed well at the box office. Notable among them were epics like El Cid and Major Dundee, along with science fiction classics such as Planet of the Apes and The Omega Man. Heston also ventured into full-fledged action movies later in his career. Despite not achieving commercial success, Will Penny held a special place in Heston's heart and was his personal favorite in his body of work. The film received critical acclaim for Heston's departure from his usual macho image, showcasing a more understated and nuanced character. Heston, who initially began his career in theater, seamlessly transitioned back to the stage when film roles became scarce. He also explored television, taking on a 2-year role in the primetime soap The Colbys. In the late 1980s, he collaborated with his son, Fraser, who had portrayed baby Moses in The 10 Commandments, to produce and star in several TV movies. His versatility extended beyond acting. Heston hosted Saturday Night Live twice and made a cameo appearance in an episode of Friends in the 1990s. Despite maintaining an active presence in the entertainment industry, Heston was more than just an actor. Gifted in the fine arts, he had a passion for sketching and often spent downtime on set creating sketches of the cast and crew. His family later compiled these sketches and featured them in Heston's book titled Charlton Heston's Hollywood 50 Years in Film. Despite the often tumultuous nature of Hollywood marriages, Charlton Heston and Lydia Clark's union defied the common narrative. Their marriage experienced its share of highs and lows, with the challenges notably including the strain caused by Heston's dedicated female fan base. However, they remained committed to their vows, weathering difficulties and standing by each other through thick and thin. Both Heston and Lydia were survivors in more ways than one. They triumphed over health battles as cancer survivors. Lydia Clark fought and overcame breast cancer, while Heston faced and defeated prostate cancer. Their shared strength and support for one another during these trying times demonstrated the depth of their commitment. However, Heston faced another personal struggle. He openly acknowledged his battle with alcoholism and took proactive steps to address it. Despite not exhibiting obvious signs of severe impairment, Heston recognized the early signs of addiction and sought rehabilitation before it could escalate further. This revelation about his personal challenges raised questions about whether his famous speech at the NRA convention was influenced by his struggle with alcoholism. In the year 2000, Charlton Heston made a memorable appearance at the annual NRA convention, delivering a speech that would go on to define a significant part of his legacy. During the event, he dramatically raised a rifle above his head, emphatically declaring that then-presidential candidate Al Gore would have to pry the weapon from his cold, dead hands. Heston, a staunch supporter of the Second Amendment, owned a personal collection of 30 firearms at his home. Little did Heston know that this speech would become a focal point in his later years. In 2002, documentary filmmaker Michael Moore, working on Bowling for Columbine, interviewed Heston to explore his views on gun control, especially in the aftermath of tragic school shootings. The interview did not go smoothly, with Heston affirming his unwavering support for the Second Amendment and suggesting that incidents like school shootings might be more prevalent in the U.S. due to mixed ethnicity or historical factors. Heston abruptly ended the interview, leaving Moore to face criticism for what some perceived as an ambush. However, shortly after this encounter, Heston made a significant announcement. He had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. The revelation came through a taped message, adding a layer of complexity to the earlier interview. When Bowling for Columbine was released, some argued that Moore should have reconsidered including the interview in light of Heston's mental condition at the time. Charlton Heston, known for his amicable relationships with directors, had a notable exception in Sam Peckinpah during the filming of Major Dundee. Their collaboration took a contentious turn when Peckinpah made significant changes to the planned scenes, leading to a confrontation where he berated Heston for not keeping up with the alterations. In a moment of anger, Heston reacted impulsively. He saw red, drew his saber, spurred his horse, and charged at full speed toward Peckinpah. Fortunately, the director swiftly stepped aside, avoiding a potentially disastrous confrontation. The incident left an irreparable rift between the two, and their relationship remained strained thereafter. In terms of his political beliefs, Heston exhibited a complex and evolving stance. While he was against the Vietnam War, he staunchly supported the Iraq War. He was notably vocal in his anti-abortion stance, and strongly opposed what he perceived as the constraints of political correctness. Heston believed in the importance of expressing unfiltered opinions and conveyed this perspective when addressing Harvard law students. Heston's health took a rapid decline after he revealed his Alzheimer's diagnosis. Despite the challenges he faced, including being bedridden towards the end, he continued to live for 6 more years. He ultimately succumbed to pneumonia at the age of 84 in April 2008, with his wife and children by his side. While opinions varied on Heston's political views and the causes he championed, his passing marked the end of an era, symbolizing the conclusion of a significant chapter in Hollywood and American cultural history. What do you think about Charlton Heston's real personality, along with the rumors in his life? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this, and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.